Hey, Wolf here, Wolf Den Hobbies. In today's video, we're going to be going from this to this. Alright, so I'm going to take you guys step by step on how I painted my Eldar Rangers. With Eldar, I think you have a lot of color flexibility. You can go anywhere from the brightest of colors to the grim darkest of colors. And no matter what you really do, it's going to come out amazing because, space elves, why not? So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this video and get painting. Okay, here is our 5 main squad of Rangers / Pathfinders. Now, these are the older style ones where, you'd have to heat up the guns and bend them back into place because they're all crooked and stuff, and then they'd break. Fantastic. Anyway, we're going to come in with some Apothecary White from Games Workshop. It's a contrast paint. Now, we're going to be using this through our airbrush today. Test out our fancy little cardboard pad, make sure that we have a good consistency going through the brush. And we're going to paint the cloaks. It doesn't matter if you overspray because it's a lighter color. And it's not really white, it's like a light gray, which is perfect. Like a bluish, like a blue tinted light gray. It's fantastic. There is a lot of controversy about contrast paints out there. A lot of people don't like them. Honestly, I think they're a great tool to have. There's people, if you really wanted to, you could get a whole army painted in no time with these. Tabletop standard. Perfect. Get them painted, get them on the board, get playing with them. But not only does it help you speed through your painting, through research, which I didn't do with these guys, they were already primed, I found that if you use your contrast paints through an airbrush over a zenithal highlight, where your darkest are dark and your brightest, super bright, it comes out amazing. So I got to try that one of these times. I'll try that. Anyway, so this is what we're looking at. Looking pretty good. Now we're going to add some erythematic blue into the mix. Just get some of this color going. We're going to create a color gradient on the bottoms of the cloak and his sleeves, their sleeves. This way, kind of play around with the colors a little bit. I had these guys sitting on the shelf and I was like, you know what? Let me try painting them. With the new Rangers coming out and everything, let me paint these old guys, see what we could do. So this video is pure, just me messing around with colors. Just trying to play around with some contrast paints and mixing some crazy stuff together and seeing what I can come up with. Alright, so this is what we got so far. Looking pretty good, if you could tell, because the lighting was horrible at that point. It was way too bright. Should have dimmed it down a little bit. But, anyway, now we're going to come back in. We're going to start from the bottom, and we're going to go about a little bit up the cloak. Not the whole way up as the previous pass. And this is going to give us a color gradient from your Apothecary White down to whatever you decide to stop at. And all these colors on his cloak are going to be married later with a wash, but I'm not going to tell you what wash just yet because it's a secret. So just hang tight and you'll see it a little bit later. So our cloaks are looking pretty fresh. Now we're going to come in with some titanium white from Golden Acrylics, and we're going to mix it with some gloss glazing liquid from Golden as well. And what we're doing with this is we're going to be painting all of the armor bits. His armor bits, any armor bits that are showing, we're going to paint with this. Because of course we oversprayed a little bit, so if we put the next contrast paint over top, it might come out a little weird in certain areas. So we want to make sure it's all nice and uniformed for this next layer. So the cool thing is coming in with this white. Nice. So it's pretty much, your helmets and everything. Alright, so now we got everything that we're painting the armor color with, white. We're going to come in with some contrast Yandan yellow. Now, I probably pronounced that wrong, so I apologize ahead of time. And I'm going to paint off screen for a little bit so you can't see it. Alright, so now we're back so you can see what's going on. Alright, we're going to paint all the armor bits in this yellow. Keep in mind, you don't want to go too crazy here and get it on the cloak because it's going to be a little hard to clean up. Also, with this contrast paint, with the way it works, you know, as long as it's wet, keep it moving so it doesn't pull too much on the flat surfaces. This way you don't get any crazy staining. As long as it goes in the recesses and it's smooth on top, you're good to go. Now, most of my Eldar are snow and ice themed, and I just think the yellow and blue theme with, you know, ice bases just looks phenomenal. Like, it's a really good pairing for the color scheme and for the bases. Now we're going to come in with some cobalt blue from Golden. Now this color kind of threw me off a little bit. This was giving me a little bit of an issue. I don't know if I thinned it down correctly. But we're going to come in, we're going to paint the helmets. We're going to paint the shoulder pauldrons or the shoulder things. I don't know. What do you want to call them? Whatever the shoulder guards are that they have, that's what we're painting blue. And anything else you really want to paint blue, you can paint blue. But we're going to, like I said, keep in mind not to get it on the cloak that's already painted. We don't want to mess that up. The darker the color, the harder it's going to be to clean it up. I would like to mix it up one of these times though, because the BL Tan paint scheme is phenomenal. Like, that just looks amazing. So I don't know, I might do that. But anyway, so I accidentally deleted the video where I painted all the brown, but I used snakebite leather, another contrast paint, and I painted all the boots, all the gloves, and little backpacks on their back sack pack in this color. So now we're going to come in with another one of my favorite contrast paints, Arithmetic Blue, which is awesome. And we're going to paint the bottoms of these sack packs. I did, I believe, 2 coats of this, just because I didn't like the way it was too light. So I wanted to be a little bit more vibrant. And this is what you got after 2 coats. Looks pretty nice. So, like I said, this is 100% me going, you know, let's play around with colors, see what we can do. So I pulled out my color wheel. I took some, you know, few ideas, and I chose a lavender. And we're gonna paint the top of their back sack pack lavender. I wonder if this is like a sleeping bag, you know? They're on a mission, right? They're on a mission. They're out there. High value target. I don't know, whatever army you want them to be fighting, right? We'll say, I don't know, Blood Angels. Why not? Right? They got their target in their sights, but they can't go after them yet. It gets dark. Somebody has to stay watch. They roll out their sleeping bags. 4 of them take a nap. 1 stands guard, and they alternate throughout the night until they're ready to take that shot. And it's what it is. It is a sleeping bag. I'm sold on it. I mean, you guys could let me know what you think, but I'm going to go with sleeping bag for the win. Anyway, so that's what it looks like with your lavender and your arithmetic blue mixture. I think it looks pretty awesome. Now we're going to paint the straps that hold it down. I'm using a brown. You can use whatever color you want for those. I don't think it really matters. I just chose brown for their sleeping bag back sack pack. All right, with that done, we are going to come in with a gray. Now I'm using this gray. You don't have to use this particular gray, but it's just what I chose. And I am going to be painting only certain parts on the shuriken pistol and on their rifles. And I have to play, you gotta pay a little bit of attention where you're painting, depending on what you're painting your guns as. Because I chose a lighter color to paint the guns, which I kind of regret in a way. I kind of wish I painted them a different color, but they don't look horrible. So paying attention to where you're putting the darker gray down will help. I mean, you could always touch it up with a white or whatever, and you'll be fine, but that's what we got. And you could use really any color for this part that you wish. I just chose gray because I thought it would look cool. Kind of go on the whole rule of cool. And that's the beauty of having like Eldar, where you can just go crazy with colors. I mean, not super crazy, but you can go pretty crazy with colors. And it'll be okay. So this is what we got so far. We got our grays down on our guns. Next, we're going to come in with a mixture of wolf gray and some deep sky blue. After we carefully chose which model to paint first, we're going to come in and we're going to paint all over the rifle that isn't gray. So the rifle is going to be like this light blue color, you know, kind of. In my mind, I was like, you know what? If I was a fantasy, you know, in a fantasy kind of world on a snow planet, how would I choose my colors? And this is kind of why I went this way. I could be 100% wrong and just crazy. It's possible. I'm probably crazy. Anyway, so we're going to come in with some silver. This silver is going to be used for anything that we're going to be painting as either like a gem or anything that's going to be metallic later. This way, we have a good solid base coat for the metallics that we're going to be using later. Or some of them have like eyepieces or whatever, or the lenses. It's good to have that metallics, that bright silver undercoat to work up for whatever color you plan on using, especially when it comes to their gemstones and stuff. Alright, flayed one's flesh. You know what that means? There are 2 guys in this squad that have open faces, where they have skin showing, and that's going to be our base layer. We're going to paint that all over their face. Trying not to get it on other things. I mean, it shouldn't be too bad because it's darker blue underneath. But, you know. So we got the faces painted. This guy has a little bit of a face showing through, which was a pain in the butt. But, you know. So those faces are looking pretty good for their first base coat. I used 2 thin coats for their faces. Now we're going to come in with some earth, brown, and we're going to use this for their hair. Now this is another point where you could paint them any color you want. I just chose this brown color because it was there on my desk and I was like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. We'll just choose this brown. I mean, there's really not much thought process into why I chose this color for their hair. But, you know, you can do whatever. Some crazy fire red. Make them... They're like a dirty blonde for me. This earth is coming out pretty dirty blonde, which is cool. So at this stage, this is where we're at. The models are looking super good. Honestly, just base it and they're tabletop ready. Just put some basing stuff on there, throw them on the table, you're good to go. I would be more than happy to play against them. So, anyway, at this stage, you can see they're all full shiny, like super shiny. That's because I gloss coated them. It's now time for washes. This is why I said earlier, this is my secret technique. A lot of people are starting to get away from washing, but I kind of like washing. It's fun. What we're going to do is we're going to wash over the whole cloak. The whole cloak and the backpack, the back sack, the sleep sack. And what this is going to do is it's going to take that aromatic blue, not aromatic blue, it's going to take the apothecary white and it's going to purple tint it, and it's going to make the transitions that we made on the cloak look like 10 times better. Obviously, in my opinion. It might honestly look like crap. I have no idea. To me, it looks good. So this is what we look. This is how we're looking at this stage. You know, we got the purple tinted cloaks, and it's just, the wash came out really nice. Alright, so the next step is we're going to come in with a little bit of Agrax Earthshade, everyone's favorite. And we're going to use this over all of the brown. Anything that's brown, we're going to cover in Agrax. Also, if you have like gold or bronze, Agrax Earthshade is a pretty good shade for those as well. There we go. Nice. Now, it's time for my favorite part. One of the most important parts of any model is the basing. And we're going to come in and we're going to base this bad boy. I am using a clay molding knife or wood spreader. I don't know what the hell it is, but it came with my clay kit, and I was using that because I haven't messed with the clay stuff in my drawer. But anyway, we're going to spread it out. Try not to get it too crazy on the boots and everywhere else. I mean, if it happens, it happens. It is what it is. Let it dry real good. Where I'll come in with some frozen grass tufts. And we're just going to stick them randomly all over the base. Anywhere you think would look good. You know, I got my fancy tweezers, got my super glue. Just going to lay them down. Wherever we think is going to look the coolest is where we're going to be placing them. Alright, put one there. Yeah, we'll put one there. Why not? Perfect. And you could... The coolest thing about grass tufts, right, is there's a lot of companies out there now that are getting to the whole grass tuft game. And you can get flowers. You can get alien type scenery and stuff. It's crazy what you can get now. So anyway, I have this flock mixture now, and I put a little bit of glue randomly throughout and around the grass tufts. I dipped it in there and I dabbed off the excess. Now we're going to come in with some fake snow, and we're just going to dip it in there, and then we're going to shake off the excess too, so it'll stick to some of that glue that was already down. But that's not it. That's not it. Like I said, we're experimenting. We're playing around. We're trying to have fun. We're going to come in with some Valhalla Blizzard, and we're going to lay some of that on there too. Why not? Just give it a nice snowy theme. Finally, one of the most important things, and I can't stress this enough, paint your rims. We're going to come in, as I like, standard black, and we're just going to paint the rims. And here's the final product. Overall, except for that guy because I tried something and it looks kind of crazy, but overall, they came out way better than I expected, especially for just playing around with colors. So, I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I'll see you back at the hobby desk. Hey, welcome back. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And this video was a lot of fun. I put in a lot of crazy ideas, I tried a lot of new things, and honestly, I think the results came out pretty good. I'm really happy with how these turned out, using mostly, contrast paints and stuff. Like I said throughout the video and everything, you can do a lot with contrast paints, and they're a lot of fun to work with what you can do, whether it's with a brush or with the airbrush. So, hope you had as much fun as I did. And, well, till next time, I'll see you at the hobby desk.